Well, let's jump to more American domestic politics in relation to this. We have this from firstpost.com. Did the weapons Hamas used against Israel come from Ukraine or Afghanistan, asks U.S. Congresswoman. Marjorie Taylor Greene says, we need to work with Israel to track serial numbers on any U.S. weapons used by Hamas against Israel. Did they come from Afghanistan? Did they come from Ukraine? Highly likely the answer is both. I don't completely disagree. I mean, I don't know for sure. What we need is evidence. But we have this from Jim Ferguson on Twitter. Jim Ferguson, UK. He is former parliamentary candidate with the Brexit Party in Barnsley, reporting, breaking news, Israel, U.S. weapons left behind in Afghanistan used to attack Israel. A high-ranking Israel Defense Forces commander said U.S. weapons left in Afghanistan by the Biden administration were found in the hands of Palestinian groups active in the Gaza Strip. The chaos that erupted after the U.S. scrambled to evacuate Afghanistan, as ordered by Biden, and the significant amount of weapons and equipment left behind there has now been used to attack Israel, a close ally of the U.S. Biden is incapable of leadership and a total embarrassment on the world stage. I don't know that any of this is confirmed, right? We have this link. I wonder if it works. This is Homage News. I don't know what this source is. Take these things with a grain of salt. This is a story from June 18th, 2023. Weapons left by the U.S. in Afghanistan reached the hands of Palestinian militants, says Israel. And again, this is from June. So it may be the case. And I think it is fair to say, considering the Taliban's desire to support Gaza and the Palestinians, it makes sense that the weapons that they got control over would fall into the hands of the Palestinians. Now, the bigger picture, I suppose, is whether or not any of this is true. As I mentioned a moment ago, people, when it comes to Israel-Palestine, their brains shut off. I'm sorry, I'm not saying literally everyone, maybe not you guys, but it's impossible to have conversations with people about this. We've even had guests, like I mentioned, who just lose it and can't hear reason. Their brains are just not working. The point is, that being said, this will be tremendously bad for Joe Biden. When Afghanistan happened, Joe Biden lost something like 15 points in the polls.
I imagine Netanyahu cannot stand the guy. I imagine he finds no comfort in Biden being around, being in control, you want to call it. Obviously, the surrender of military equipment and human life to the Taliban in Afghanistan was one of those egregious losses of American military.
Right. I mean, this theory is even on the table because Biden handled Afghanistan so poorly, right? We can't totally know for sure. I agree with Tim. Take it a little with a grain of salt. But the fact that we know weapons and other supplies were left behind means that this is on the table in the first place, which, again, is a direct responsibility of the Biden administration. I don't understand how anyone can defend Biden going into 2024, given the record and the position that he has put everyone in the last, 2 years of his presidency?
But I don't like that everyone is kind of jumping on the Biden administration and trying to blame America for this conflict. This conflict has been going on for a long time, to say the least.
For sure.
And everyone wants to always attribute things to America, like, oh, they released the aid to the sanctions on Iran, so they got $6 billion. It's like, that hasn't been confirmed. We don't know that Iran directly directed this attack. We don't know that the funds were directly used. But what we're seeing are people like Senator Lindsey Graham and the neocons in the Republican Party trying to score points against Biden and saying we need to bomb Iran's oil refineries, when we don't even know what the facts are yet. We don't even know.
Dude,
we don't know the extent of this stuff yet.
Excuse.
Someone pointed that out about Lindsey Graham. He's almost 70 and has no kids, so he has like nothing to lose.
Hey, look, I'll tell you what.
He's not here for a long time. He's here for a good time.
He wants to put on the cowboy hat and ride the atomic bomb down and like, what was that? What was that, Dr. Strangelove?
I actually visualized him going to the front lines in his fat body.
He would not, though.
Lindsey, come on, Lynn, dude, what?
Hey, look, man, if you tell me that you're in favor of funding and support for any country, no matter what it is Israel or Ukraine, hey, man, I got some military PTs. We got some ammo. We'll suit you up. We'll put you in basic training. And we'll send you right off first light.
And when I visualized him going, he'd be like, I'm too old to go.
But it's okay for your relatives and sons and children to go. It's fine with him.
Dude, what the?
Hey, man, look, more people is still better, right? So if you're in favor of going to war with any country, like we could suit you up. You know what I mean? So the people who are all for intervention in Ukraine, it's like, let's suit you up, buddy. Like and look, a lot of the people did go. That's crazy. Remember that guy from what was that MSNBC guy who went to Ukraine?
Oh yeah.
Who was that?
I don't remember who it was.
Malcolm Nance.
Malcolm was.
Either that fake video where he pointed and Didn't he pretend that like there was like an airstrike or something when there wasn't?
No, there was
one?
like a you heard a sound of a jet or something or a bombing, and he's like 1, 2 bomb, 3 bombings. That's what's happening. It's like, oh, shut up, dude.
Yeah, that was early
But hey,
on.
look, man, at least he went there, I guess. It reminds me of that movie Edge of Tomorrow when they're like going to send Tom Cruise to the front line. Like, and Malcolm Nance, you're going in. But hey, look, I'm not saying that Israel's right or wrong. I'm just saying if you want military funding for any of these countries, Lindsey Graham wants to bomb Iran, bro, I will put you in that plane. You can pull the lever. Let's get you going, buddy. But my point is this, they won't do it. No, they want your kids to go die for this.
Yeah.
That's sick.
You know, I think this is not a war of Islam against Judaism. I think it's a war of release us from this open air prison.
No,
I don't think it's a religious thing because
it's been a religious for
dude. That doesn't explain.
Well, it's always been for land. It's always been for land. Even though
Hezbollah exists. Okay, all right. Iran has stated they want to kill Jews.
They'll use it to rally people.
It is not about.
But I'm thinking about 9/11, which is why I brought it up because they said it's the Muslims that want it. No. We wanted the oil in the Middle East, so we went in and took it, and we said Muslim, and we caused all this chaos. And it was just like that was stupid of me because now I'm like I'm thinking like, dude, the worst threat we could face is Islamic terrorists. It's not. Okay, it is terrorism in general, but I think the Russians are Christian. I mean, the Russians are like Orthodox Christian. They should be on our side defending what's right. You know, what's good and right. I'm not saying but I don't want it to turn into some religious thing. It's just we got to call a white peace in Ukraine and start working together to defend Earth.
I mean, I don't think Ukraine wants to. Ukraine and Russia have not successfully worked out a peace deal. I'll say that, and I think it would be impossible to say, okay, guys, we've got a new world conflict, so you guys just take a pause and we'll move on. I mean, what I'm waiting for next is anything to happen in Taiwan because everyone can tell that we are on the brink of very serious chaos, and I think everyone knows the U.S. doesn't have strong leadership. I agree with your point. We can't blame the Biden administration for everything. There are lots of historical factors going in. I just know that in the last 3 years, we have not positioned ourselves the way I would like to be going into this kind of conflict. And there's a question about whether the leadership of the American federal government is best serving the American people. I can't say internationally what's going on.
We can blame the Biden administration.
Yeah.
I mean, look, we can reduce any argument. We can go further and further back. What was the real cause of World War II? World War I. What was the real cause of World War I? Okay, fine. At a certain point, we talk about the actions here. Under Donald Trump, Abraham Accords, normalization of relations between Israel and many Arabic nations. Donald Trump, no new wars. And while there was budding conflict with Ukraine and Russia under Obama, it stops when Trump gets in. Weird. Trump actually starts investigating this corruption. How strange. ISIS decimated. The intention of the existing administration, the uniparty in this country, is to perpetuate war for their neoliberal New World Order, whatever you want to call it. Those are their words, not mine. When they say what do they call it? The liberal world order and the liberal economic order or the New World Order. Again, it was the CFR that called it a New World Order, whatever.
I think they also call it like the American-led liberal economic order. They'll specify that it was an American-led thing.
Trump's attitude is like, we're going to secure our borders and bring manufacturing back and mind our own business. And everyone else was like, well, okay, that sounds good to us. And then Biden gets in and he's like, I'm going to blow them up. And now we've got war everywhere. Which is crazy. So yeah, I'm sorry. It's like at a certain point, I'm not going to go into the nitty gritty of all the classified documents to determine was Russia biding their time. And it was just a coincidence that all of this happened the way it did. And just be like, nah, the simple answer is this. Under Donald Trump, no war. Under Joe Biden, lots of war. I think it's Biden administration's fault. Yeah. And then Trump even had Bolton in. Trump
at one point told Putin that if he aggressed, Trump would nuke Moscow.
He told Xi Jinping that as well.
And then I think he was like, I don't know if he believed me, but it was even if it was 5%, that's enough. Trump said that, and he's right.
Yeah, it's any kind of doubt. He was the one who carried out. No one believes that Biden could do the same thing, and I think, I don't know. I don't want to. I know we're going to talk about RFK Jr. in a second, but I just really think this is one of the moments that Democrats are going to have to evaluate if they can get behind the Biden administration for a second term.
I think this may be it for him.
Yeah.
This is going to destroy the Biden.
His base is like pro-Palestine. I mean, I think so. Him sending support to Israel immediately
no, they're
disqualifies
absolutely
him.
not.
You don't think the far left base?
No, the average Democrat voter probably doesn't know or care at all and might just give you a generic, but we support Israel. Far leftists will vote for Joe Biden because they're crazy people. But not all of them did, but a lot of them did. A lot of these prominent leftists and Antifa people who have big social media followings endorsed Joe Biden and said, like, we got to support him because Trump's a fascist. So they did. They support Palestine, but Joe Biden's actual voter base, which is the default liberal, is probably more aligned with Israel.
The ignorant masses.
Yeah, the ignorant masses, all they hear is Democrats saying, like, Israel's an ally. We must protect them. And they go, yeah. The far leftists are like Palestinians, from the river to sea, et cetera, et cetera. And then you have conservatives who understand quite a bit more and overtly support Israel. Not all of them, but a lot of them. And then you have libertarians who don't want us involved in any of it.
That actually is not working for me anymore. I used to start to think along those lines of non-interventionalism, but not anymore.
Why? What changed?
I thought a lot about World War II, and if we hadn't gotten involved in World War II, what would have happened? Hitler would have taken over the world.
I really don't think so.
I mean, he was about to. He took France. He took France in like 3 weeks.
Taking over the world is a very, very bold and kind of crazy statement, considering he would have taken Europe.
He would have taken Britain.
He would have taken Europe. He would have taken Britain, and he would have murdered lots and lots of innocent people. Definitely. But the world is a bit much. Right now they're saying like Vladimir Putin's going to take Poland. I'm like, oh, shut up, come on.
No way.
Come on.
Not gonna happen. No way.
They're like, they're saying like, the Russian forces are decimated and they're losing and Ukraine's winning, but he'll take Poland.
Yeah, right,
Please, dude.
I think I was saying, was it before the show? I've been so accustomed to false flags just because Gulf of Tonkin. I was talking to my dad. He was like, oh yeah, he served in Vietnam. He was in the Navy and he remembers the false. So that I'm like so anti-interventionalist. But then sometimes people just get attacked. Sometimes your country gets invaded. And I've never lived that life because I'm from the United States in the late 90s, where we never got invaded. But now sometimes it can happen. And you got to be realistic about that. There's no time to waffle if your country's under attack. You can't let a hot air balloon float all the way across your landmass. Like, a split-second decision.
The spy balloon that we did float across America?
Yeah, it's asinine.
And Montana was like, wait, there's something here. And we were just like, who knows? We'll just see what happens. Oh, wait, we shot it down later. I mean, I get, the desire to sort of feel like you need to act, right? But in this case, you have to go back to like, our government is to serve the American people and what is ultimately the best interest of the American people. I can understand an argument for we have allies, we've made agreements, we've made deals, but, I think the president has the duty to the American people first, and we can't forget that.
Thanks for watching this clip from the Timcast IRL podcast. Hang out with us live Monday through Friday at 8 p.m. and become a member over at timcast.com for uncensored, members-only shows exclusive. Thanks for hanging out, and we'll see you all next time.